All right, let's dig into little tech. We have quite a lot to go through here, Jason. The biggest story, I think, is that Palo Alto Networks is going to buy Protect AI, which is a company that we added to the Twist 500. So we'll need to take it off now that it's going to be part of a public company. Protect AI, if you don't know, sells tools to secure generative AI usage inside of large companies. If you want a bit more detail about that, essentially it helps enforce AI usage policies. It helps you red team AI applications to make sure they're not misused, and also does conversational audits.
I just want to make sure I understand that.
Sure.
So we know what red teaming is. That's when you try to trick an AI to make a mistake or do something it's not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if it wasn't supposed to grab your credit card from LastPass or password, one password or whatever you're using, if it's not supposed to, I don't know, do something racy, sexist, offensive, you try to get it to do that.
Yeah.
That's what red teaming is, just for people who don't know. You try to break things, get it to act offensively. So this helps you with that. And then, I guess, monitoring the workforce usage and actually creating policies and auditing all this stuff is really going to be important.
I think it's going to be huge. Yeah.
Yeah, this feels like a really important idea because I have paid for everybody in the company, I think, to have ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we may pay for Claude too, or maybe select people buy it who use it a lot. I kind of need to know what's going on in those, right? We need to know what people are doing, especially if they upload our data to those services.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
So there do need to be some controls on this, and it sounds like a really great idea. And did they say what it was sold for?
So they did not list a price. They called the deal strategic on the Palo Alto Networks side. GeekWire did report that the transaction was for more than $500 million, but we don't have anything more concrete yet. But no, Jason, actually, it's not that great of a price because I think their last valuation was between 400 and 450, and that was last year. So this isn't that big of a sales premium. And the company said at that time that it grew, I think it was by several %. So to me, there's a missing piece here that led to this sale because it seems like the company, the funding, the growth all had it pipped to do a lot more than this exit. I don't want to talk crap about someone's 9-figure exit, right? But it just feels a little cheap. So I wonder if we're missing something in the story that hasn't come out yet.
The last valuation is the sales valuation. That's like a really interesting discussion point. Is that basically what we think happened here?
Plus 20%, yeah.
Okay, so whenever you have less than a doubling, the VCs are not in it for a doubling.
Mm-hmm.
That means the founders drove this and the early investors drove it. So there'll be 3 constituents in a company of this size. You have the early investors, angels, seed, Series A. They all got in at 5 to 10 million, 10 to 50 million, maybe 100 million, and the founders got in at $0. That group probably owns collectively 80 to 85% of the company, including the employees. Then you got the last 10 to 20% of the company. That's the Series B. That's the 100 million at 500 million post. That group of people usually has a right to get at least 2 times their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they would, if they were smart. In a really competitive environment, they can't get that. They just get their money back.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a situation where if that firm was in a competitive situation, they may have given up what are called protective provisions. The protective provisions mean, you can't just run away with the money. You can't abscond with it. You can't. There are things to protect investors from bad behavior or losing money. One of the protective provisions is participating preferred or a liquidation preference.
Mm-hmm.
This just means I get my money back plus something so that if you do some quick sale like this, I don't get nothing.
Yeah.
So my guess is whoever put the last 50 million in has a provision they get double their money back. A liquidation preference, in other words. So they get the 100 million. If this went for 500 million, they sweep the 100 million off, then 400 million goes to everybody else. You get 400 million to everybody else. Maybe the founders, if they own 80% collectively, thought, hey, 40% of 500 million is 200 million each. We're in. So I'm guessing that's what happened here. And maybe they thought there's a lot of competition, and maybe they were given equity in Palo Alto Networks, which has been doing fantastic. The founder of Palo Alto Networks spoke at the All-In Summit last year, and he really explained how he really courts founders and puts those founders in charge of their units. And if there was a unit doing that internally and they go buy one, they take the unit head who is getting beaten by the independent and say, that's your new boss.
Yeah.
If the unit head internally is beating the external competition, they get to be there, keep being.
Yeah.
So that's his philosophy. It's kind of a cutthroat.
It's a reality competition series.
I think it's more, it's performance based.
Yeah.
If you are a fading starter in the NBA and some young buck comes up and they're the 6th or 7th person on the bench, they might take your position. Very awkward thing you see happen sometimes in basketball, for example. I know because I'm friends with Draymond Green and with David Lee. David Lee was the starter. He was towards the end of his career. Draymond Green was coming up. I think maybe, if my memory serves me correctly, like their minutes or starting position may have flipped at some point during that transition. But they were both very cool with it. David Lee was, Draymond Green's mentor, and so was Bogut. So you had this really great transition. All right, listen, congratulations to them. And the other piece in this, Alex, to note, DPI, sending money back to your investors, has been very low for 4 years under the wrath of Lena Khan. And then it just got kind of paused by this tariff turmoil.
Yeah.
So maybe the VCs here are like, hey, I doubled my money and I could send 100% IRR. The internal rate of return here is 100%. I can just ship it to my LPs and just say, hey, by the way, you put in 10 million. This was whatever. If you put in 30 million, this was 1 million of the fund. All of a sudden, I'm sending you 2 million back in the early days of a fund. It's like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. Money came back from a venture fund. Something that's not happening as much as it needs to.
The power of cash on cash returns. All right, next up, ARX Robotics. It is a European defensive robot company. I have a picture of one of their machines right here, Jason. This is an autonomous robotics platform. The company has many different systems that go on top of this. You can do delivery of supplies on the battlefield, sensors. You can do casualty recovery, I believe is the term of art.
It looks like a little, what would that look
tank. It's like a
mini tank?
Tiny tank with a big sensor on top is what it looks like to me.
Like treads. It's got 2 treads.
Yeah, it's like a mini tank, like not as big as a, vehicle-sized tank, like a little, like one of those autonomous delivery robots.
I was just about to say exactly like one of those.
It was a tank.
Got it.
Sensor on.
So it looks like maybe an ATV, like that you might drive in your ranch.
Roughly ATV size.
Yeah,
sure.
size of your desk.
You could sit on it, but you